Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I know I had hordes and hordes of people waiting for me to start today, and I apologize. Um, but we are live and we are rocking and we are rolling all night long. Sweet Susie. Today we're looking at our little bit of Dawn of Flame. So we're doing a little bit of a Dawn of Flame. They are cruising their way back to the sun. J Rock 9430. Hello, hello. I'm going to throw a little quote at you, get things rolling. Um, so our group, I do appreciate you stopping by, J-Rock. If you have any questions, please let me know. Starfinder is awesome. Guardians of the Galaxy with magic. So our group has been dealing with stuff around the sun. They're going to end up going into the sun itself. There are some cities that have been encased in these magical technological bubbles. And there's this one special that's been found. There's been one or two special, almost like tubes that you can get to go through the sun to get to these cities. And it was a huge event that happened. Um, so our crew is investigating the stuff that's happening there. When they get to the town, they're going to find out that, hey, this militia group is taking over the town. And so what we're doing today is we're going to set up those two encounters. They have two encounters with these guys as they're walking through this town. Um, they pretty much taken over and said no one is going to be allowed in or out of the city anymore. We're taking over. We need to protect ourselves, and so that's what's happening. Um, Great AP. It's been fun. It's a roller coaster. What I've done, if you since sounds like you're familiar with the Dawn of Flame, is the only real major change I made to it is that I set up this thing called the Midnight Corps, and the Midnight Corps is an organization that was established just after the Gap, and it might even be pre-Gap. I haven't really decided yet. Probably just after the Gap. Anyway, the whole concept of this is if you want to do something done that you don't want to do yourself, contact the Midnight Corps. And they are on all the planets throughout the Pact Worlds, many of the moons of Bethesda, Bethsaida, and it can be anything from cleaning your kitchen to driving across town, going in between planets, killing, kidnapping, protection, guard duty, pretty much anything you can think of. You contact them, they'll establish a price. If you agree, boom, it's done. And so I especially love the opening scene. J Rock says, yeah, the opening scene is amazing. Um, so what I did to get them all there is I made them all go into their various planet uh, offices of this Midnight Corps looking for a job. And so they took a test where I had them roll several different skill checks, put them into a spreadsheet, um, and then the Midnight Corps determined, okay, these 5 people are suited to work together. They'll make a good team. The Midnight Corps then collected them all, put them together in Absalom Station, gave them a ship called the Midnight Core 7. And pulling up their little, there it is. Nope, that's not it. There it is. And this is our crew, and the ship that they're in. And so that's how they started. So as part of Midnight Core, they were tasked with bringing a group of scientists to the station. Uh, and then as far as Midnight Core is concerned, they got there, they delivered their scientists like they were supposed to, and Midnight Core already had another job lined up for them. So, despite the other events of this fire whale coming through the portal and chasing a ship and attacking it and things, the Midnight Core crew, of course, jumped in their ship to go rescue them, rescue the ship. Um, they then start searching through this derelict ship, and their communicators beep, beep. Here's your details of your next job. Here's when you're expected to be there. Blah blah blah. And so they then finish with the ship, take it back to Far Portal Station, and then they head off to Akaton to do their next job. And then now, while they're on Akaton, is when Far Portal Station collapses into the sun. They get recalled. Uh, the people at Far Portal Station request them again, so Midnight Core is now finagling and for the haggling for the prices and setting them back. So that's where we're picking up. They're on their way back to Far Portal Station. Um, the way the AP is written, they never leave Far Portal Station. It happens immediately. I broke it up a little bit, make it a little bit more realistic. Wanted to give them a little bit more Starship combat. So they've had 2 more Starship combats that aren't in the book. Um, they also had this whole scene where they were the villains. They still haven't figured this out yet, but somebody paid the Midnight Corps to steal some cargo from a ship. I mean, from like a train, basically. Uh, and so they went. There were lots of clues that this is not normal, but none of the group even thought about it. And I think it's part of the joy of role playing games is that um, you're always a hero. The fact that you might be doing something that's wrong is very rare. I mean, there's an occasional time where the little girl that you're rescuing is actually a hag, or there's a plot twist and things like that. But for the most part, you're the heroes, and so it was fun. Where I don't know if they'll ever find out that they were doing something that they were not supposed to, against the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. Um, but we'll see. Maybe they'll next time they go to Akaton, they'll be arrested or something. We'll figure that out. So when they get back to Akaton, I mean back to Far Portal Station, they'll meet up with a woman there who will then tell them they're then going to get the Breath of Embers. They've already seen on the news reports that Midnight Corps has been proposing legislation against Far Portal Station because they're claiming the rights of salvage for the Breath of Embers, the ship that they rescued. So that's then now going to become theirs. They're going to fly into the sun, and then as soon as they get there, this guy's going to come up to them and say, "Okay, I'm here to inspect your ship. Go ahead and continue on about your day." He's actually trying to steal the ship and take off. So there's that little encounter, and then they go into one of the other bubbles from one bubble town to one called Asana Town, and that's where the civil unrest takes place. And that's what we're going to be dealing with today. More than likely, we're going to be doing a lot of map building. But let's take a look and see. Take a look at what these are. Okay, a couple different peak shores here. Using lighting features. I am using lighting features, absolutely. And this will be a good time to do it because in the city streets there'll be flashing lights and different color lights. May have from different businesses and things. So the the drawback to this situation is that they're in the sun, so they're going to have this glaring ambient lighting all the time as well. So they'll have to get inside before the lighting features become really cool. All right, so these are just the encounters. We have event 3 and event 4 that we're going to be looking with. And lens flare. Fancy Ground needs to add lens flares, J Rock says. All right, so, and it's funny, or I wouldn't say funny, but it's interesting because our Bolita here are they are underground creatures, and they don't do well on light. They're like a disadvantage in light. So, and this whole AP is built around messing around in the sun. So he's going to be an unhappy, crispy Bolita. All right, so we need to make a couple cityscapes. So we have a couple different choices. Let's go to our assets. We can go to data first and see things I pulled from the interwebs. I know I have one that I've used with my other group. So on Sunday nights is when we play this. So you're welcome to join us, folks. 5:30 to 8 is when we play this on Sunday night Pacific time. And we play this every other week. So we play Dawn of Flame, and then the opposite nights we play the Mind so blank. Dead Sons. Now my Dead Sons group are level 10. These guys are level 1. So there's a little bit of a disparity there. But I have a lot of, take a look at this city. This is a medieval city, okay? So we don't want that one, although we could tweak, we just use those and just, I might still use that because I can cut that one in half and use it for both and just add a layer on top to make the roofs of the buildings look more modern. So Fantasy Grounds has just came out with some new, their latest art pack had Starship stuff. So you can build a whole Starship from scratch. And then you can also, then they have interior stuff for Starships and stuff. So they're getting there. But not a whole lot of modern slash new, you know, stuff. They are going to be coming out with more because we have Vampire the Masquerade, um, Starfinder, Savage Worlds. We have a lot of different systems that use modern slash futuristic things. So they are going to be coming out with more. But I'm going to be utilizing the Starship one a bit today. So let's do that. So we're going to take this. So here, let's create the image record. And let's see just how rough this is going to be. It might be too pixelated. Let's take a look. We're going to give ourselves some more room. Well, that's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. All right. So this whole green area, I'm not really worried about. Wouldn't really work for what I'm trying to do. But the rest of it works pretty well. And the nice thing is you've got some interiors as well. And my goal is to cut it in half. So that is one good option. And I'll show you real quick what I was talking about. Let's go to back up to our main index. And we'll go to, we're looking for FG Spaceship Art Pack. What was that other one? Hold on just a second. So we have things like this. And the reason they're white is you can make whatever colors you want them to be. Make them whatever colors you want. To go, I could use a couple of them, like this one here is a good one for a roof. And then I could also use ones like this for different roofs and different houses and different things. So for example, if we take this into our painting layer, first of all, we always want to check your grid. We're at 50 by 50. Let's see what it looks like. I did not participate in PaizoCon this year. I'm not a huge con guy. I've you know, either in person or online. It's just not something that I'm real focused on. All right, so for example, if we throw this guy on here, let's go to our painting layer, um, drop it in there. We can make a new painting layer. We would call it roofs. Roof. Go to our color picker. Um, so the off white is actually not too bad. Not really sure what we would want to do in a town, in a bubble. You're in a bubble, you got the sun rays blasting you all the time. You want a pretty light color. Um, so we can go with like a yellow or a pink or something. So let's start with the yellow. Just go with the basic yellow for now. We'll change it down to 2, keeping the aspect lock, which means it keeps it 2 by 2. And then we're gonna control. We're going to use control and shrink it just a bit. Boof, right there. And then we can just use shift to turn and match it up with the roof. Boom. Oops, 1 second. Go up to stamp. Boom. And now we've got our roof. And then what you can do is you can go in and I can, once I'm done with all the different roofs, different tops, I can then add a little bit of weathering if I wanted, or add some shading. So Uh, Lots of different ways, and that's what you can do through most of this, through these all these different roofs. I could do that. There's also, and the nice thing is we have all these different cool shapes and sizes, so we don't have to stick with square. We can go with, a circular roof. We can go with and put it on top of this one, do other things. So lots of different choices. But before we go through this trouble, um, I have a tendency to go down a rabbit hole uh, um, with these maps because they're a lot of fun and they're easy to use. Uh, and I could spend, you know, probably it would take me about an hour, maybe hour and a half to do this the way I want to. Um, so before I do that, because it's just for 2 encounters and then I'm never going to use it again, I want to go ahead and take a look and see what we can find in the stuff. So give me just a second here, guys. We're going to look on the interwebs. All right, so VTT. Keep that in mind if you're looking for stuff for Fantasy Grounds. Um, those 3 letters are your friend. Virtual tabletop. See, so instead of going through all that trouble, I can just grab one of these, and I think that's what I'll do. So this is not a destroyed town like this one. Um, this one has a lot of lights. We don't need that in a sauna town. Here's another destroyed town. I may end up using this anyway, and just with my ambient lighting, shifting the color a little bit. There are several different ruined cityscapes. The confrontation is between 3 soldiers, so it doesn't have to be very big. So this one, for example, looks really cool for like a cyberpunk. This is exactly what it's written for, cyberpunk. But again, we're not dealing with dark, shadowy nighttime things. There is no nighttime. This is a brightly lit, insanely lit um, city. Again, it's a cool one. So these are some nice ones to put in the old brain pan to use at a later date. All right, J Rock, sorry. He says, I don't know if we got GEM yet, but it's fantastic. Um, Drawing a blank there, my friend. What's the is that an AP you're talking about? No, I don't like this. All right. All right, so I like these top ones. We're gonna pick from here. Let's go with this guy. gotta keep finding it as it takes you through to the various links till you can find the right one. Okay, it was here. I just saw it, the last link we were just at. So let's take a look and see. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? All right, so boom. We go to, so what we do is you want to find where the your images are, and I have a choice. I can put it in my all Fantasy Grounds campaigns or this particular campaign folder. Um, this image with the little spaceship and stuff, I'm probably going to use again. So I'm going to put it in my overall Fantasy Grounds images folder. Okay, this is coming in on as a web page. Can't do web page. So let's see. Did I hit the wrong button or not? Nope, I did not. Okay, so let's try blowing it up a little bit with the control plus plus plus. Moving it down. Moving it down. There we go. Oh, okay, so it's not quite full. There we go. Do a little grabby grabby. Galaxy Exploration Manual. Okay. No, I have not grabbed that yet. I did the last thing I grabbed was the Starship Operations Manual. Um, I'll have to check it out and see if it's something I need. Right now I'm doing two. I'm a little hesitant right at this moment just because right now I'm doing two APs, and so I don't need to make my own galaxies. But I want to see what it is, see what kind of encounters, and see what kind of build it makes. So I'll definitely check it out. So this is going to be, I'll just put Suntown or Future Town and save it as a JPEG. Right now we're in download, so we need to go back to where we want to be. Um, images. So you can see we've got a lot of different stuff in here. Save. All right, and then this is Future Town 2 in the same spot. Everything is good. Boom. So now that you have put them where you want them within your computer, you come down here in your assets, right here to this button and say refresh. And if you look at your chat, if I can unbury my chat, it says folder assets refreshed. So we'll go ahead and close this for now. Close our assets as well. And then now we can go back up into our assets. Didn't need to close the assets. But now when we go to data, actually go to images. So we have two choices. We can type in future. Well, I'm just going to go to all and type in future because future town. There they are. Great image record. So now we have our 1. Let's see. All right, so now we're going to blow it up a little bit and take a look at it, see what it looks like. All right, so now we've got it zoomed in. We check our grid. This should work really well. All we have to do is add some line of sight, and we're set. Go to the grid. We go to our visible. Boom. All right, so it's a little bit bigger than what is here. So let's go ahead and shrink it down. Let's say it looks to be about a third. So let's say it's 30. Keeping the aspect lock on. And we're going to turn down the grid. So you click on the tint, turn down. This is the opacity. Bring this way down. I'm going to change it to bright green for this moment, just so I can, as I'm lining it up, I have a better idea of what's happening. Click OK. All right, so this is a little too small. So you can tell. So this is almost exact, but then as it goes out, the squares get bigger. So we're going to make it 31. We are really close. That looks like it. So maybe 32. So we'll bring it down. Nudgy, nudgy. Line it up with what's there. And as we zoom out, it gets a little bit skewed. So we'll try 31.3. There we go. So our squares are lined up all the way across. So now we have our grid. Now we can make our go. We can actually just turn off the grid if we want to, because it's the same as that grid that's already there. Can't do anything about the grid that's already there, but that's fine. We're going to start with our line of sight. Line of sight. We'll start with our walls. We're going to go with start with some rectangles, because we have some buildings to do. So we're not worried about them going into these buildings. So I'm not worried about doors. Makes it a little bit easier. Line of sight and lighting and things, really not that difficult. There are lots of videos out there, including mine, that go over how to do it. It's just time consuming. And obviously, the more you do it, the faster it goes. And the main thing is you don't have to be exact. You just want to be close. So one thing I am doing wrong, I just realized, is that I'm drawing a line of sight. So like in this building, it will block the line of sight around it to the extent that you can't even tell what it is. So when you do line of sight, you want to, so I've changed it to here, and now I'm selecting this one. You want to bring it in so that they can see the art of the wall or the whatever it might be. In this case, it's a building, it's a roof. um, so they can see it. Otherwise, they don't get to see anything at all. It'll just stop the site. Um, there we go. So now you can see the rooftop. Oh, they'll be able to see the rooftop. So we'll adjust these real quick. I'm not going to make you guys watch me as I do all that, so I'll go back and fix those. Oops, escape. So for right this second, there's been some issues with the tokens. So the Control Z is not working because it causes too many complications. So the eraser is your friend, or in this particular case, since I'm doing these, I'm just removing the line of sight points. There we go. All right, so I'll fix those in a moment. Let me go ahead and get rid of these. Delete. So that is how you do line of sight. So like I said, just go inside a little bit so they can see what's happening. You can also make these if you really like the art. So like if I wanted to put line of sight around the statue, which I'm not, I can make it a terrain so that way you can still see inside it. And you can also turn it on and off. These you can't turn on and off. I will probably make all these vehicles terrain. So what you do, same thing, click terrain. These are rectangles. Boom. It will block line of sight, but they can also climb on top of it. And if they're on top, they can see all around it. But if somebody's behind it, they cannot see it. So, you just make your vehicles terrain. Quick and easy. If you have a crooked one, I could just make it square, or you go to lines and go click, and then draw your lines out the way you want it. Escape to get rid of when you're done. Same thing with this one. Click. I'm left clicking on each point, and then escape when I'm done. You could also make these points, terrain as well. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to have the encounter take place probably right here. As they're coming around the corner, they're going to go up, and then that's where the encounter will be with the troops. All right, so now we go back. We're going to go over to our lighting, and we'll start with our ambient lighting. So color the light, I want it to be as bright yellow as I can. Turn it on. Let's see what happens here. Toggle on. Okay. Shadows, length, presets. Let's see. I'm not worried about presets. Let's go with sunlight preset. Colors is that color. I want it to be so a little bit more orangey. I like the bright yellow, but I want it to be a little bit more orangey. Trying to find, there we go. Okay, so now let's take a look and see what it looks like. Go here to our play mode to enable. All right, so there's our lighting. Let's see. Ambient. Just gonna make it really white. There we go. A little bit more orange. Say okay. So now let's go. Let's see what our sunlight does. Nah, sunlight's normal. Let's go back to none. All right. How about just a red? So the thing is, when you're changing colors, so remember how we talked about the Starship? A lot of the Starship hull designs and pieces and things were white. And because that way you can change it, the color. Now, because I'm dealing with browns and grays already, when I'm adding these yellows and stuff, it's adding on top of the color that's already there. So it's not as bright or as yellow as I want. Thank you. Um, the other nice thing about this map is it has shadows built in. Uh, let's see. I want to go, still tweaking the colors a little bit. I want it to look noticeably colored, and I think that's a pretty good way to go right there. The other line of sight that I'm going to do is, before I forget, and jumping back to my line of sight real quick, make a rectangle. I'm just going to, I could either block this off, or I'm just going to do the map. I'm still in terrain. Never mind. We're going to go to our select portion, click minus. I wanted a wall. So if you're wondering what I did, there we go. All right, so now we go back out, do our wall. So this just means that they can't see beyond the map. Um, and they can't move off the map. If I don't do this, then they can see the words on top. You can see what happened. Ah, I'm being silly. All right, so now I need rectangle. One more time, please. There we go. All right, so now they won't see the words. And now I could also cover this with a layer. I could draw more cities, some more roads if I wanted, all that stuff. I don't need, but for now I don't need to. So getting back to lighting, by the way. There we go. All right, so we're good. I don't really think we need to worry about much more lighting. In this particular case, like I said, they're outside. It is bright sunlight, and I think we're golden. So what we're going to do then is we need to, what I like to do is I like to change the name, so I make it unidentified. And what that means is if I left it the way it was, it would, when I shared the map, they would see Future Town 2. By changing it to unidentified, I can put whatever I want to in this section. It doesn't change the file name, but it changes what the players see. So this is going to be Asana Town. And then we're done with this aspect of it. We'll add the encounter in just a moment, finish this up. What I want to do is I'm going to go here to the encounter, which is right here, unlock it, and then we click and drag the link. We're going to drag this over here, pin, so now we have both. We also are going to drag the encounter, link. I typically do my story entry and then my encounter just below it, so that way I always know what's what. So here's our encounter. We have two of the slimy soldiers to one of the scions. I'm going to go back to here. So here's our things that they're fighting. I'm going to put these on here as well. So I have link and link. So I don't have to dig for and find these images. They're all right there. We go to our encounter. I could also add them in the story entry as well, right here, but I've got them right here, so I don't need to. Um, I try to make that a habit, to where when I have encounters, I link the story entry, the encounter, and then the images of what they're fighting, um, all together uh, on a if they're going into each of these buildings and each one of them was an encounter, it's still, yeah, there's looks like a lot of pins, but the players don't see any of those pins, and uh, it makes it much simpler than trying to dig through my story entries or any other way. For me personally, that's what works well for me. Um, so we're just going to throw him down. So let's see, it says, across the street, a crowd of Lashunta has gathered. In the center, two armed Lashunta soldiers drag a Kasatha family, two parents and a child, out of an apartment. The crowd seems of mixed opinions, most are shouting in protest, while others are picking through the household items, and a third soldier is throwing out that a third soldier is throwing out the door. Um, and one adult attempts to resist to be punched in the face. The other adult covers his face as the soldier is restraining him, tears away his mouth scarf, and laughs. In the center of the madness, the child wails for someone to help. All right. Um, so they are in near an apartment building. We will say it is this one, and we will put them here. So now you can see what the line of sight looks like. Um, so as they come around the corner, they see this crowd gathering over here, and they come around to see what's happening. Let's go to here. Let's go to this. So he will be inside. I'm gonna put him half inside so they can see him, and then the collective two guys will be here, and then go to assets, tokens. All right, so I'm gonna go to my. I have some sci-fi species here. So we're gonna just we're gonna make a crowd of people. Start with this guy. Make him a little purpley. Let me make sure I can interact with this token. I can. Okay. And then we'll make this guy all orange, and we're gonna make him small. Hold down Control. Boink, boink, boink. He's just a small guy. We're gonna put a green one next to him, a little bit bigger. We have a woman. We'll have another. I'm using a lot of the orange ones. And we'll have some squid wormy guys. Okay. All right. So we're gonna do a couple squid guys. We can do the whole body, or we can do the facial. I'm using all the facial things, so I'll just stick with that. Um, so here's a purple guy, and here's a red guy who's gonna be smaller. Here's another I mean, here's a purple guy, smaller. We're going to zoom in and move them closer together. Hold control to make them free floating. Here we go. Boof, boof. And we'll have a green one as well. Shrink it down. Little family of wormlings watching. We're having fun. All right, so I'm getting some major family aggro here, folks. So going back up to my index. So I'll just fill in the town. I'm going to add a couple Lashuntas and some what the hell they call it? I'll just add some more townspeople, the Kazathas that they're being captured, and we'll be all set and ready to go. Is all this necessary? Not really. Um, we could have easily done this theater of the mind and just describe what happened and have them tell me what happens. But I like taking the time, making it a little bit more enjoyable for my peeps. At least I hope it is for them. Uh, and so thank you for hanging out. Check if you like I said. You can look down below for the schedule. Go to my twitch.tv/Svenster77 and see all the schedule for when I do this. I play this particular game Sundays at 5:30 to 8 every other Sunday. The off Sundays I'm doing Dead Sons. Like, subscribe. You can see all of the past episodes on my YouTube channel of what brought them to this point and how it plays out once if they finish. You can watch them on YouTube as well. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Tell your friends, email grandma, whatever else you do. Enjoy the rest of your day.